assumption that the mind is in the brain. The mind is the brain. Mental activity is brain activity. This says that everything you experience is somehow inside your head. But is it? We've all been brought up with that assumption. It's something that ordinary people, even in ordinary conversations, say. If they say it's in my mind, they often say it's in my head. It's an assumption that runs through our entire civilization, and which we're now busy spreading to the rest of the world through modern scientific education. So, is it true? Well, I think if you think about vision just as a starting point, it's fairly easy to see that when you think about it, it just collapses as an assumption. Think of what happens during vision, e.g., you seeing me now. We all know the scientific explanation. Light's reflected from me, travels through the electromagnetic field, enters your eyes, inverted images on your retinas, changes in the cone cells, impulses up the optic nerve, and activity in different regions of the brain, the optical cortex and elsewhere. So far, so good. We know more details about that than anyone's ever known before. But is that an explanation of vision? No, it's just a description of the changes that happen in your nervous system and in your eyes. How does that explain the conscious experience of seeing? Well, the answer to that is it doesn't. That none of this explains consciousness at all, which is why the mere existence of consciousness is called the hard problem by philosophers of mind. So then, what might be going on? Well, where are these images located? The usual assumption is that your nervous system mysteriously generates a virtual reality display in full color and 3D inside your head, and that's what you're experiencing. Well, that's quite a stretch. No one's ever seen a virtual reality display inside a head. But let's just stay with this conventional view for a while. That means that when you see me standing here now, your image of me isn't located where it seems to be. It's inside your head. There's a little Rupert somewhere inside your head. And if you look at the sky, then the sky you're seeing is inside your head too. Your image of the sky is inside your brain. There was a seminal paper on this subject published in a leading journal recently called "Is Your Skull Beyond the Sky?" And the author of the paper concluded, yes, of course it must be, because everything you experience is inside your brain. So your skull is beyond the sky. Everything you experience is inside your head. The head you seem to experience that seems to be there is just a visual illusion produced as part of the virtual reality display, because the real skull is outside your whole realm of experience. That, believe it or not, is the official view, taken to its logical extreme. The view I'm putting forward, by contrast, is so simple that it's hard to grasp. I'm suggesting your image of me is located right here. It's in your mind, but not inside your brain. Vision involves an inward movement of light and an outward projection of images. That everything you see in the world around you is projected out. Your mind extends far beyond your brain. If you look at a distant star, it extends out literally over astronomical distances. So the projection of the mind in every act of perception is something that's not confined to humans. I think that's the way all image-forming eyes work. The world is full of invisible visual projections of other people, of animals, of birds, of insects. Just as this room is full of invisible electromagnetic radiations carrying cell phone messages, TV and radio programs, so when you go outdoors on a nice bright day like today was in San Francisco, the world is filled with these visual projections from all these creatures that are seeing the world, not just humans. Now, this is not a new theory of vision, and I claim no originality for it. It's what Plato taught, it's what the ancient Greeks believed, it's what Euclid had as his basis of his optical theory of vision. It's the way in which he explained mirror images. The reason you see things behind a mirror, the virtual images, is because when you project out your image, being mental projections, they're not bent by the glass, they go straight through it, and you create these images behind the mirror. That's still the theory in physics textbooks today. It's basically based on the idea of an outward projection of images. Most children under the age of 10 believe that the eye projects out images. Jean Piaget, the developmental psychologist, found that under the age of 10, most European children believe that vision involves an outward projection as well as an inward movement of light. However, Piaget said, rather pleased with himself, that by the age of 10 or 11, the average child learns the correct view, which is that thoughts and images are invisible things located inside the head. Now, most of us have taken that on trust, but no one's ever seen a thought or an image inside a head. All they've seen is electrical changes in brain activity. So, is this just a philosophical question, or can it be tested? Now, as some of you already know, this is something I've devoted some time to, because if your mind reaches out to touch what you're looking at, you should be able to affect what you're looking at just by looking at it. If it's another person, if you look at them from behind, through a window, they can't hear you, they can't smell you, they can't see you, they don't know you're there by any other means, can they feel your gaze? Well, as soon as you ask that, you realize this is a common experience. Most people have had the feeling of being stared at, and have felt when people are looking at them from behind. I've done lots of experiments. Some of these experiments are so simple a child can do them, and in fact thousands of children already have done them. They've been done in primary schools and secondary schools in Britain, Germany, and throughout the state of Connecticut. And these experiments have given consistent, repeatable results. People can tell above chance when they're being stared at. This experiment's also been running in the Amsterdam Science Museum, the NEMO Centre, for 15 years now. Tens of thousands of people have taken part. It's one of the biggest experiments ever done. The results are overwhelmingly positive and statistically significant. The sense of being stared at seems to be real. Yet regular science can't explain it at all, and it's treated as a completely taboo or paranormal topic outside the remit of conventional science. It's not mentioned in regular psychology courses except dismissed as a superstition or an illusion that the uneducated are prone to believe in because they haven't learned a proper scientific theory of vision. Yet, ordinary people may be completely right about this. I think it's a very fundamental ability. Most animals have it too. I think it probably evolved a very long time ago in the context of predator-prey relationships. A prey animal that could tell when a hidden predator was looking at it would tend to escape better than one that couldn't. And so I think this is very fundamental, very basic. It's found all over the world. Over 90% of people have experienced it. And it fits with a theory of vision that doesn't confine it all to the inside of the head. For that reason, it's completely taboo within science. And yet, it seems to happen. It's not expensive to do this research, and it's in fact very interesting.